All right, everybody, it is match day, and I'm so glad you're joining us. This is the 110 football tailgate. We are taking you right up to kickoff of LAFC versus San Jose, and it's going to be the last one for a little while. So enjoy it, everybody. Really enjoy it. I want to give a shout out to Kevin in the chat. First in the chat.
Hey,
and first in the chat, and you asked for a live greeting, you get one. So what's up, Kevin? But like I said, this is the 110 football tailgate. I am Vince La Rosa, and I've got a great cast with me today. To my right, Philly, the man with the energy.
Flattery will get you everywhere, Vince. Thank you very much for the introduction.
Jessica Black is back.
Hi.
The woman with all the tactics and all the smarts. And
the takes. And the takes.
And then just beyond her, the scarf.
Hey-o.
The nicest man in football. And might I say, has a nice kit on today.
Thank you, sir. You don't look so bad yourself there, my friend.
I normally am quite a stylish guy.
Far more stylish than I.
But I'm actually copying JR because he went right about 50 feet from us, went to HQ, got that parlay kit, and I said, hey, if you're going to look that good, I better look that good too. So you guys can join the two of us. I know Jess wants one badly. He's ready to fight for it.
I want to see JR wear your pants. Not like your pants, but your style of pants. No, clearly not your pants, but his style.
Yeah,
we play a little game of like who wore it best. You know?
We could.
The answer is Vince.
We could, but you guys can go out there and get your own parlay kit. I know that every year they sell out, so you might want to get one as quick as possible. But like I said, and I keep saying like I said, that's okay. And I want to stop doing that. We're taking you all the way up till kickoff. It's going to be our last one in a while, so really enjoy it. So get in the chat, get busy, and let's really kick it off because this is going to be interesting here. I've got the starting 11, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a look at the starting 11 right off the top. This is LAFC's starting 11 against the San Jose Earthquakes, and there's some interesting selections and an interesting formation. I'm going to read it off, and then my great cast here is going to react. In goal, we got Maxime Crepeau. You have a three-man center back line of Sebastian Ibeaga, Ilie Sanchez, who wears the captain's armband, and Mamadou Fall. Across the midfield, we've got some wingbacks going here today. Kellen Acosta on one side, Ryan Hollingshead on the other. And then through the middle, it's going to be Latif Blessing, Pancho Janela, and Sifu. Up top, Chicho Arango, Brian Rodriguez. So a 3-5-2. Where do your minds go from seeing that formation?
Right to last season, when it kind of felt like Bob was doing a little bit of experimentation when things weren't going right, trying to get us out of a rut. And I would expect no less from Steve because we're in a difficult situation without some of our best players. And so you need to move some things around. And so we just have to see what happens. I have to say, seeing like Ilie Sanchez in the back line worries me just a little bit. But I guess the name that really popped out to me was in the subs column with Eddie Segura. It's a big one, right? Getting somebody like him back. So yeah, what do you guys think?
Look, I'm with you. My first thought goes to the injury list. I mean, you think about Chiqui Palacios, obviously, who won't be back for a little while. You think about Carlos Vela and his quad. You think about Franco Escobar. And you think about how differently we've had to shape this squad right now with those three very key pieces being out. But you mentioned it. My heart grew a little bit bigger when you see Eddie Segura in the 18.
And he's going to play. At some point, he's going to play. They're not going to put him in the 18.
This place is going to go nuts.
They are going to go nuts. No matter what the scoreline is, we hope that he's coming in to, keep the 3 points for us. I just look at that and I see, like you said, injuries. I see a coach trying to find the way to put the best players that are fit on the field, which is why, you got Brian Rodriguez, you got Chicho up top.
Yeah.
It's just going to be interesting because it is a 3-5-2, but you have players that can really flex into a lot of positions. You have Kellen Acosta, who's playing wide, but can come in the midfield. Ilie Sanchez, who's playing in a back of three, that can also come in the midfield. Sifu can push forward to the front line. It's just going to be a lot of interesting. So really, honestly, it's something that if you're a tactical mind and you really enjoy the positions and the roles that players play, this is an interesting one for you because it is a very big change.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the back line, obviously there could be a concern seeing Ilie Sanchez back there, but we have to harken back to his days at Sporting Kansas City. Peter Vermees utilized him in that same exact position when Sporting Kansas City was hurt and depleted. So I feel a bit more comfortable seeing Ilie back there as opposed to Kellen Acosta. I feel like Kellen Acosta has been a lot better for us within the midfield. That's going to be an exciting thing. And to your point, seeing Steady Eddie in the game, at least in the 18, is exceptionally exciting. I figured there would be an opportunity for us to see him because, well, if you looked at the end of last game, the scuffle, he went from the stands right into the pitch, and he was in the middle of things. So he's got some fight in him, which is exactly what our team needs.
If you are not watching the Champions League final and you're going to go back and you don't want to know the score, cover your ears because I'm about to tell you in 3, 2, 1. Real Madrid are the Champions League winners. They have won 1-0 over Liverpool. And for all of you that
Sucks for the Scousers.
have joined us from that game, welcome. We're taking you right up to the next most important game in the entire world, which is LAFC
Agreed.
versus San Jose. And we've just given the starting 11. But I have a chance every week to talk to the man that chooses that starting 11. We don't often talk about starting 11. We actually talk about things other than football, and that's why it's fun. This is In Touch with Steve Cherundolo, and we're talking a little bit about vacations. So check this one out. Steve, quite the weather delay. What does a coach do to simultaneously focus, but I'm sure you got to stay a little loose?
That's precisely it. You don't really know. And so you are kind of preparing for everything, preparing for our team admin, Jeff, to come in at any moment and say, guys, in 10 minutes, we're out. The only thing you do know is you have, depending on the delay, 10-minute warm-up, 15-minute warm-up. I believe it's a maximum 15-minute warm-up when you do go back out. So you do have that little window for sure.
Any games that you guys play? Tic-tac-toe, little soccer, tennis? What are you guys doing back there?
Yeah, a lot of soccer, tennis going on in the locker room. Trying to throw the ball and balance it on the chair. So there's a lot of silly games going on, just passing the time. I got on the bike a little bit, just moved. Yeah, it's just really just trying to stay focused, but not expend too much energy because you still have 90 minutes to play.
Carlitos Vela va a entrar por abajo, Carlos Vela va a venir el gol, gol. I just wanna ball, somebody I can call. Trophies on the wall, can I really have it all? Can I really have it?
Let's move on to the theme this week. The theme this week is summer vacation. Type of vacation guy that you are. Are you a activities, like let's go to the museums, let's learn some culture, or are you, I'm gonna lay on the beach, leave me alone? What's your vacation mode?
If I had to choose, I'd say I'm more out and about, but I can sit at the beach and lay there for 7 days straight if need be. I recall after the 2010 World Cup, I did exactly that. I just took a week and laid on the beach and did nothing, and it was great.
What beach are we talking about?
This was actually in Tahiti and Bora Bora. Not a bad place to visit.
Laying on the beach, when you're in beach mode, there's got to be a cocktail or drink of some sort. What's the summer drink? What's the Steve Cherundolo pick drink of choice?
Well, it kind of depends on what phase of life we're talking about. So early on, it was certainly a beer.
Yeah, okay. This is Steve,
This was Steve,
early 20s?
Player, early 20s.
Okay. What kind of beer? Pilsner?
Yeah,
lager?
usually a Pilsner.
Okay.
Usually a
Good,
Pilsner.
good man.
Yeah.
There he is, the boss, as I like to call him, Steve Cherundolo. And 2 reminders about that. We talked about vacations because, once again, this is the last match we'll have for quite a while. So we want to make it a good one. And second, you can see the full feature of that on LAFC's YouTube channel. Steve goes deep into what he does on vacations. So it's always a good time, and you can check out all the rest of In Touch with Steve Cherundolo right there on that YouTube channel.
Yeah. Look, with the school about to end right now and summer about to begin.
Yeah, you must be stoked.
I am so excited for a staycation. I don't know that I really want to go anywhere right now. I just want to take a couple of weeks here as we have a little bit of time off in between. We've got about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks before our next match. Power down a little bit, get the energy back up again. I'm all about the staycation right now.
Jessica, dream. You told us, and I don't want to use what you used in rehearsal because I want you to have a vacation. Where is the place that you could go, if you could go anywhere in the world, where were you going?
If I could go anywhere, maybe it would be like Spain or Italy or something like that.
Nice.
But you guys know soccer never stops. So
Oh, because you're going there to watch football.
I would love to go and watch games. Like, that's always what my mind is really thinking about. The transfer window is now open, or it's about to open in the UK/Europe. So that's what I'm covering now.
Secret
it never
agent
sleeps.
Jess.
It never
Gonna
sleeps.
go make some deals,
so
wheeling and dealing.
if I'm going there, I'm going to watch a game.
Philly, dream vacation location.
Dream vacation. I have been fortunate enough to go to pretty much most continents, all but one, Antarctica, but I'm not going to call that my dream vacation.
That would actually be kind of cool.
If I had the opportunity to really go anywhere, honestly, I'd really enjoy going to Reykjavik, man, and just hanging out in those thermal pools right by the airport in Iceland. That, to me, would be a lot of fun because it's different, completely, changed atmosphere from everything that I'm used to. But, yeah, I would say that much would be it. A cruise to Antarctica would be fun, though.
I'm going to wherever that stock photo of Tahiti was.
Right? That was
That was
beautiful.
so nice.
Go to it. That plot of land's going to sink at some point in the future. You got to get out there while you can.
Hey, just get bigger stilts.
Yeah.
Well, it might be cheaper when it sinks.
I might pull a Josh Perez and go from Ibiza to Miami because those are the last two clubs that he's played for. He's really figured out this pro game right. So speaking of figuring out this pro game right, what we'd like to do before every match here on 110 Football is to pick our players to watch. And don't forget, you too can play at home, play along with us, try to beat us. Pick your one player to watch from San Jose and one player to watch from LAFC. We're going to go through the panel right now to see who our panel picked. And again, try and beat our panel. And if you do, there's a sweet hat that Jessica has right here. You can win this hat. Remember, you have to tune in to LAFC 360 on Mondays to find out if your score, which is kept by MLS Fantasy Points rules, beats our panel. And if it does, you win a sweet hat. So with that being said, Jess, your players to watch. I think Don Garber would love your players to watch. Who do you have as your players from LAFC and San Jose?
Yeah, so I went with Brian Rodriguez from LAFC because somebody has to step up, right? In the absence of, some of our more, experienced players and some of our leaders, especially Carlos Vela, somebody has got to say, you know what, I'm going to put the team on my back. And Brian Rodriguez is definitely somebody who can do that. He has all the talent in the world to do it, and he's been really sharp lately, so I chose him. And then for San Jose, I chose Cade Cowell. He has 1 goal and 3 assists this season. He's a creative young player, very, very good. He's going to be on their left-hand side, which is our right-hand side, which has been a little bit of an issue over the last couple of weeks because we can't seem to find a right back. So I think that could be an area where San Jose might try to exploit us. And so I chose him for that reason.
I love it. Philly, your players to watch, San Jose, LAFC.
I would really love to see Brian do his thing, but again, to me, I'm a history buff. What can I say? And as far as history is concerned, the player that I feel that we need to watch is Chicho Arango. Why? Because he led our team in scoring last season. Why? Because he led the Colombian First Division in scoring. A guy who can find the back of the net. And with our captain, Carlos Vela, out with a quad injury or no serious injury, it's up to him to go out there and show what he's made out of, and I'm sure he's chomping at the bit. And as far as San Jose is concerned, a player that has been a thorn in our side, no pun intended, a player who would score against us as a member of the Portland Timbers, a guy who's been scoring quite substantially for the San Jose Earthquakes, or Smurfquakes as I like to call him, Jeremy Abobasi. He is currently leading their team in goals and among the leaders in MLS with 7 goals and an assist. This guy is a pain in the rear. He loves to score against LAFC. In fact, I think he gets a kick out of putting it past the black and gold. That would be my player to watch for the Smurfquakes.
Vince, I'm not going to lie, I'm rather partial to your picks, but you guys will have to see why in just a minute. Vince, your players to watch for this match.
For LAFC, my player to watch is Brian Rodriguez. And a lot of times I will go and look at who's scoring well in MLS Fantasy, but sometimes it's just like, this guy's been jumping off the pitch as of late, and Brian Rodriguez is doing it in little cameos. I think he's going to be there from the start, of course, so he's got a longer leash to go on, and I need to see some production out of him, but I really feel like he's actually in the mode where something's a little bit different. He seems much more direct, much more goal-oriented, and that's what's going to get you points in this little game that we like to play. And then the other side is a guy that no matter how the Quakes are playing, he can shake things up. Nothing? Okay. Jeremy Abobasi.
I like it.
Jeremy Abobasi.
What you did there.
Look,
I didn't want to steal your thunder.
He's a strong number 9. He's a guy that you always have to keep an eye on. And like I said, even when the Quakes aren't playing well, he can create something out of nothing because he has the skill set to just kind of either poach in there, make something, chase down a ball that somebody who doesn't want to go after. I like a number 9 like that. I like a guy that is both fox in the box, but he's willing to kind of get in there and muscle in there. So Jeremy Abobasi, and also, as you said, he does have a history of doing this against LAFC. So B-Rod, Jeremy Abobasi.
Look, I couldn't think of 2 better players to pick myself, so I'll take them from you. Yeah, Brian Rodriguez and Jeremy Abobasi. They will be the epicenters of our attacks for these 2 different teams. See what I did there with the thing?
Don't
trying.
Forget, he's not even flinching.
Tough audience today. Look, don't forget, you too, again, you can play along at home with us at 110 Football on social media. Give us your 2 players to watch. Again, 1 from LAFC and 1 from San Jose. And again, you can win this sweet hat. Jessica's got it for now, but you can take it home. Tune in to 110 Football's LAFC 360 on Monday to find out if you are the big winner. So
chances are you will win because we have not been very good this year. But
we're the first 4 losers consistently.
The big caveat is what Scarf said. We give out the winner every Monday, and we have a lot of ties. We had a 6-way tie one time. So you have to watch to understand if you won. So there's a good chance you could win, but you won't know unless you watch the show.
And it's a sweet hat. There's no reason not to play. Get at us at 110
free.
Football. Please make sure you play. Look, they finally let the degenerate gambler of the group talk about props and parlays. I'm very excited about this one. 110 Football's LAFC prop bets. This is very exciting. This is where we take 4 different prop bets, and we give you whether we feel we're going to go over, under, more,
sprinkling
less.
funny money everywhere.
This is very exciting for me to do. So again, these are our 4 prop bets before we turn them into a sweet parlay. The first one that we are going to talk about is the first team to score. So all you have to do is real simple. Pick a side. Do you think LAFC is going to score first? Do you think San Jose is going to score first? And with that, I give it to one Jessica Black. Jess, who do you think is going to score first in today's match?
Yeah, I don't have to go into a lot of detail on this. I chose San Jose.
You don't have to or you don't want to?
Because I'm going to get into some detail because I have my takes a little bit later when I do my shot. So yeah, San Jose is going to score first.
All right, I like it. That's not maybe a popular pick in the chat, but again, the smart money. Jessica's usually the way to go. Philly, what about you? LAFC or San Jose scoring?
Scarf, real quick. I've known you for 5 years. I
Yes.
co-host a podcast where we've nearly done 200 episodes. I'm on 110 with you. You are not a degenerate gambler. Just a gambler, if I must say.
I'll
Don't
take
sell
it.
yourself short, brother. You
However
don't have a
I can get
problem
it, I'll
yet.
take it.
Not yet. As far as my first team to score, history has a tendency of repeating itself. I am a history buff. I will repeat that time and time again. However, history will not repeat itself today because LAFC has something to prove, and they, in fact, have a chip on their shoulder. They will be the team to put one past Marcinkowski to open the scoring line for what should be a convincing victory for the Black and Gold at home this Memorial Day weekend.
All right, Vince, you're either with Jess or you're with Philly. Which one is
What's it going to be,
Come
buddy?
to the dark side.
Whoa, now I feel a lot of pressure, and this is why gambling can get out of hand. I'll say this. This is why I'm not a gambler. It's because I'm 2 things, optimistic and stubborn. And I think every time we pick this, I pick LAFC to score first, and they never do. But I'm going with LAFC because they're going to score first. I'm going to be right sooner or later. Broken clock is right twice a day.
That's right.
And I will be that broken clock today.
I dig it.
Look, I'm sorry, Jess, but it's 3 against 1 today. I absolutely think LAFC is going to score first. They're actually going to be the only team I think to score today, so I have to pick LAFC for scoring first. It has to happen, right? Philly, eventually history will stop repeating itself. That being said, our next is over or under 8.5 corners. If you've watched this team play all season, there are usually lots of corner kicks involved. And the way they have the half point is so you have to pick a side, either over the 8.5 or under. Vince, do you think we're going to be over 8.5 today or under 8.5 on the corners?
A good way to do this would probably see how many corners LAFC normally has in a game.
Right.
I haven't done that. I just feel like there is a lot of corners in LAFC games, so I'm going over. These are 2 teams that actually really rely on set pieces. LAFC more so. They're one of the best set piece teams in the entire league, so they're going to try to actually coax their way to get some corners. They have great delivery. Fortunately, they were missing Carlos Vela, but Kelnicos is still out there.
Yeah.
Over.
All right, Philly, what about you? Over, under?
I mean, to piggyback off some of the ideas that Vince said, I would agree, but at the same time, both teams are coming off losses in the U.S. Open Cup. LAFC, an embarrassing loss to the Galaxy, and San Jose, an embarrassing loss to Sacramento Republic. I feel like both teams are going to go after each other in the most intensive ways, hence missing a couple of opportunities, kicking it outside. So I feel like we're going to see over 8.5 in terms of corner kicks.
Jess, do you agree with the rest of the panel so far?
Yeah, we go over. No big explanation, just over.
I'm right there with you. Look, I actually think, doing a little bit of research, we've actually been far more over the 8.5 corner number than we have under this season. So the smart money says to go over. So that's where I am going. Very exciting. All right, this is a fun one. It's the first time we've done this prop bet here on 110 Football's pregame show. This is called the Anytime Goal Scorer, and it's simple. If you think they're going to score in the match, put money on them as your anytime goal scorer. And I'm actually going to kick this one off because, like I said, I thought I would be Captain Smith riding this Titanic all by myself all the way down. And it will be Brian Rodriguez is my anytime goal scorer because you know what? You have to start somewhere. You have to start sometime. And that's going to be today for Brian Rodriguez. Jess, who is your anytime goal scorer for today's match?
Yeah, so I did something a little bit different. Instead of going with my, one of my picks for players to watch, I went with somebody that is probably a good bet for a goal or an assist. I went with Montero. He has 3 goals and 3 assists, so I feel like that's an easy bet to make. So
I like that. That's a good value bet, as we call it in the gambling biz. Philly, what about you? Who's your anytime goal scorer for the match?
Scarf, you could go down on that Titanic, and while you're doing it, you could sip on your Sanka because you're out of your mind. Brian Rodriguez doesn't score goals, ladies and gentlemen. You know who does? Chicho Arango. That is going to be the man who's going to take this team on his back and do what he's got to do to put through a W at Bank of California Stadium.
All right, Vince.
Was
Who's it
the
gonna
captain
be?
of the Titanic really Captain Smith? 'Cause
I
you could
thought
have just
James
said Smith.
Smith.
and
Yeah.
I
Oh,
would-
it very much was.
Okay. And his name is James Smith.
James Smith.
Okay, might as well have been John Doe. But we'll go ahead. Oh, we've got a correction.
Loretta knows.
Isn't it John
From a
Smith?
Titanic.
Loretta does
expert.
run a
A Titanic
podcast
expert.
At the end of
All
the day.
right, we're off the
Dang
rails.
it, I was
We're
close.
off the,
I was close.
we're off
Isn't
the
it John?
iceberg or whatever it is. I'm going to go ahead and just give mine. I love that value bet, and because I've learned everything about gambling from my man, the Scarf, the teacher.
So that's why you're still broke.
It's B-Rod. And that might be why I'm still broke in funny money. I've lost a lot of funny money.
All right, so you've heard our anytime goal scorers. This is the last of the 4 that we do, and it's over/under. Even though he's not playing today, we'll see what happens. Over/under 3.5 yellows. We'll start it with Philly. Philly, what do you have on the over/under 3.5 yellows?
Over and a half, 3.5 yellows. Look, our yellow card achieving machine, Jesus David Murillo's not playing today because of yellow card suspension. Yeah, I know we still have Mamadou Fall. So
Yeah, the
at least-
first guy to get a yellow card suspension this
Right.
season.
We at least have one of the Bash brothers still in the back line, but because Jesus David Murillo isn't in the lineup right now, I'm going to go under 3.5 yellow cards.
All right, Jess, are you over/under?
Oh, over. Over. Like, we always get so many yellow cards, and I just think it's going to be one of those types of games. Tackles, people trying to make a statement because both teams lost their last 2 games. So I think there's going to be some yellows. So I'm easily over.
All right, Vince.
MLS referees, team chaos, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to hashtag it, I'm definitely going over. I would be very, very surprised if there's a game this entire season where we've had, let's say, 2 yellow cards. I'm sure there might be a 3 yellow card game, which
Right.
would be the under, but most times we're going over.
Look, I'm hoping LAFC comes out with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. I think San Jose might as well. So I think we're going over as well. And then the fun part that we get to do with these 4 prop bets is we roll them into a parlay. We pick 2 of the ones that we are most sure on of these prop bets. We roll it in with today's score prediction. And with that, Philly, which 2 props and what is your score for your parlay for the day?
All right, first one, LAFC is going to be the team that scores first. Said it, don't need to repeat myself. The next part of it, we're going to be over 8.5 on the corners. And then last but not least, your tiebreaker, the scoring line. What we're all going to go home happy with is an LAFC victory, 2-0. LAFC puts 2 past JT Marcinkowski, and we get to enjoy a beautiful weekend. Angels City tomorrow against Gotham, and then Angels wear boots and LAFC 360 on Monday.
I love it. Vince, what are you feeling on your parlay for the day?
Look, everybody, there's still enough time before kickoff, and if you live in a state that allows gambling, write this down. First team to score, LAFC. Anytime goal scorer, B-Rod. And put that together with the great minds thinking alike, a 2-0 scoreline. I feel like LAFC really needs this one, and in order to do it, they're going to have to control the match and play the way that they know how to play, their principles of play. So go for that. First team to score, B-Rod, 2-0 scoreline, and you will make a lot of money.
I actually think that is a substantially solid value bet there on the parlay by Vince. Jess, I like 2/3 of what you're about to tell us. Why don't you give us your parlay for today's match?
Yeah, so guys, I went with over 8.5 corners, over 3.5 yellow cards, and I went with a San Jose 2-1 win. Maybe it's just a little bit of me still feeling hurt by the Galaxy loss, but I just have a feeling that this team is sulking a little bit in their bad fortune and the injuries and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm not feeling great about this game. I want us to win, but I just don't think
Are
we're
you
going
the
to get
type
over
that
the
ever
line.
puts like the energy out in the universe, hoping that it comes back the opposite way on you so that you feel good about it, or you really believe 2-1?
I really think 2-1.
Vince, you've been doing this show a lot longer than the 3 of us. We've been, interspersed in between a bunch of different shows. Is this the first time that somebody on the panel has picked against LAFC?
No, if you guys will all remember, it was a pretty lean year last season. And there was a couple lost picks, a couple where we got it right, and a couple where we were just like, they're just going to lose, and they actually made us look silly, but there has been more.
And I
than
would
a
love
couple
for them
lost
to
picks.
make me look silly. I don't want, of course, I don't want to be right about this. I just feel a little down at the moment.
No, look,
me
I'm
up.
with you. Like I said, 2 out of 3 I love. I'm taking the overs on both the over bets, over the 8.5 and over the 3.5. But I am taking a big win for LAFC today. This is going to be a rebound game. We are going to play with some fight. We are going to play with some heart. I have a 3-0 score prediction for LAFC. That's right. This is
Degenerate gambler
throwing
alert,
bad
folks.
money after bad. I'm just going to go down with that ship. It's going to be a 3-0 LAFC win with both overs.
We've got a lot. I mean, we got a lot of synergy, but also a varying opinion on this, and I like that about us. Well, guys, we are moments away from kickoff, and that gives us a chance to give our final team talk, as if the players are just about to go on the field, and you say, whoa. Before we go out there, one last thing, and we call this shoot your shot. So it's our last thing that we want in the ears of our players before they walk out in that pitch. Jessica, you're up first. Shoot your shot. What does this team need to do to win today?
Well, somebody needs to step up. I mean, that's pretty much all it is. Whether it's Chicho or B-Rod or whoever it's going to be, somebody needs to step up in the absence of so many experienced and experience and a lot of leadership. You know, there's no Carlos Vela, no Murray. And so for me, it's like, who is going to take this team on their back and just get us over the line? We are just at the tippy end of, you know, a break. Like, we're going to go through a break and we're going to get some of our players back. But right now, it's more about mentality right now. I mean, the team, you could see that on the team sheet, we're just trying to kind of tape it together and get it over the line so that we can get into the break. So I think this is more of a mental game than a tactical, you know, what can we actually do on the ball? Somebody just needs to say, you know what, I'm going to kick it in the back of the net. You know, somebody has to do it. And so for me, I don't care who it is. Somebody has to step up for this team, because if they lose today, it's 4 and 5 losses. So that's a mini crisis in my opinion, and we cannot go into that. It's going into the break.
Look, I couldn't agree more. And with that, I think we're kind of saying the same thing, just in two different ways. This club needs to remember who they are. Look, it was an awful loss to Galaxy in the Open Cup. But you know what? The Open Cup loss does not determine your MLS season fate. We are at the top of the table. We are one of the best goal-scoring teams in the league. We are one of the best defensive teams in the league. We have the most different goal scorers of any other team in the league. We are very, very good. And I think LAFC needs to remember who they are, get that swagger back a little bit. And that starts right here against San Jose at home. Defend the bank. This is Bank of California Stadium. This is our home, and we need to defend it as such. So with that, LAFC, remember who you are. You are at the top of the table for a reason. Play like it today.
One of the best things I heard doing my amateur MMA days, and yes, I may have grown horizontally as opposed to vertically since then, but one of the greatest things I ever heard is that fatigue clouds our judgment and makes cowards out of all of us. That being said, LAFC have played a significant amount of games during the month of May, but that shouldn't matter. They have to stay focused and they have to stay disciplined. Steve Cherundolo, during the press conference at the end of the last match, mentioned in particular with the actions caused at the very end that they were undisciplined, unfocused, and kind of stupid in a lot of ways. And I would tend to agree with that. You can't focus on what the refs do in terms of their calls. You can't focus on what players get injured and go out and change up the game plan. It doesn't matter what this person said. It doesn't matter that this person undercut you and then whined to the referee. What matters is putting the ball in the back of the net. This is a game that is exceptionally important. Why? Because we are going on a 3-week break. So we need to go into that 3-week break riding a high. Nothing other than a W, in my opinion, would be acceptable today. We need to smoke San Jose. We need to beat them convincingly. A tie, to me, would be a loss. To quote the movie Mighty Ducks, it's not worth winning if you can't win big. Today is the day where LAFC needs to win big, and that's what you guys are going to do.
As Philly reminisces about his amateur MMA days, I'd like to think back to when I was 5 years old and a yellow belt in Taekwondo. Totally joking. You know what? A lot of us across this panel have kind of similar sentiments, and I think it's for this reason. LAFC is in first place. They are a good team. The tactics are not wrong. The players are not bad. It's just we've kind of lost our way somewhat in mentality. So mine is get angry. And this is for two reasons. John Thornton stacked this team with veterans for this very reason. He had too many young guys where it was like, we can't really blame you for not being here, not knowing what this situation is. But now you've got veterans and you've got guys that can look each other in the eyes and say, I'm going to hold you accountable. You hold me accountable. So let's go out there. Let's get the victory any way possible. Again, that's all the way across the line. The other thing is just get angry because there's going to be 2 weeks off. Like, you do not want to go into this break sour. So get angry now so that you can be happy later. That's what's going to be important. And again, it's not about tactics. It's not about the players. We have all those, although we are in a bit of an injury crisis. It really is about mentality, and they're going to have to just will their way to victory here. Weird kickoff time, weird team to play at this time of the season, but you're going to have to will your way to victory, and then you can go out as the #1 team in MLS for that 2.5-week break.
Best in the West, best in MLS. Your anger makes you stronger.
Love it. All right, guys, we are just about done here. I'm hearing them in there. The players are coming out. That means kickoff is very, very close. But let me tell you what we've got coming up early next week. We've got 2 great shows. Of course, you're going to want to watch LAFC 360 because you're playing players to watch and you need to know who won, but also we'll have great analysis of this match right here. And then at 4 p.m. that same day, Angels Wear Boots. Angel City FC right now is cooking. So you're going to want to watch that show as it's growing. Be a part of the show from the ground up, and you'll get to be a part of that chat. It's a lot of fun. Jessica's on the show, and she's fantastic. So check that out on Monday. On your holidays, you're sipping some margaritas, having some hot dogs, whatever you're doing, we've got your football covered that day.
And you don't have to wait to get your LAFC fix because just after we are done here, it's time for kickoff. You can catch the game on TU2NET on Twitter and on ESPN Radio. So make sure you get your radio or your channel set for the LAFC versus San Jose match kicking off in just a couple of minutes.
And speaking of that match, that's just our halftime. We are going to watch that, and then we're going to come right back here and break it all down for you on our instant reaction post-game. That chat is really hopping, so be there for that. Win, lose, or draw, we'll be here for you. We'll probably even get a little crowd behind us, but be right back here, 110 Football YouTube channel, just after the final whistle. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
How are we feeling?
Let's go LAFC!
That's how I feel.
I love it. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Good.
A little nervous.
3-0, boys.
See you
I'm
after the
on.
match.
Until we die.